What's going on, you all? Welcome back to another video, and trust me, I am glad you are back because I have something I want to say in this video. So if you haven't noticed by now, I really like studying the human mind and human behavior, and I'm not on social media a lot, but every now and then I will come across something on my timeline that really sticks with me. So recently I saw something and I immediately thought, wow, that's what I've been trying to describe. The one thing about us as humans, we're always creating new phrases to explain old concepts, and sometimes the new wording just hits differently. So I came across something called bean soup theory, and it really resonated with me. And I wanted to show you all a video first, and then I'll come back with my commentary because, yes, I do have something to say.
My number one favorite thing to have discovered on TikTok is the bean soup theory. If you never heard of that, bean soup theory is basically you could make a video about making bean soup, and people gonna be in the comments like, can I make this without beans? Can I make this with chicken? What if I'm allergic to those beans? What if I can't put onions in there? What if I don't like bean soup? Nigga, then don't make the bean soup. Why are you commenting on a video about how you can't use the video? Just don't use the video. Or why is you making it about you in a negative way? Like, hey guys, I'm showing you how to put on my shoes. What if I don't got no legs? Nigga, this ain't your kind of video, nigga. Man, we got to a point in life where everybody want to be included in everything. No, man, have your own personality, man. Be yourself, man. Be who you is. You don't got to do everything everybody else is doing. Where that come from? Send it back. Wherever that came from, send it back.
So you all just saw that video, and here's what I have to say. Have you ever noticed that some people don't actually listen to understand? You know, they're just waiting for that moment that they can jump in and make a conversation about them. And you'll be talking about something in general, something like meant in a broad sense. And here they come with the, well, actually, I did that and it didn't happen to me. It's like they believe their personal experience automatically cancels out the bigger point. But, you know, one exception does not erase the pattern, okay? One lucky outcome doesn't remove the risk for anybody else, you know, and that's where the bean soup theory comes in. You know, the bean soup theory says that, you know, if I'm just making bean soup for myself, not asking for opinions, not giving a lesson, just showing, you know, what I'm cooking, someone will feel the need to say, I don't like beans, or you should make it without beans, or beans upset my stomach, or, you know, I would have added chicken. And the answer is the bean soup wasn't made for you. You know, if you don't like beans, then it simply wasn't made for you. And, you know, the funny part is that's exactly where the phrase comes from. The original creator, her name is Kara. She was literally making bean soup. She was making bean soup, I believe, you know, for women, saying, you know, this is what you can eat, you know, if you're on your menstrual. You know, she was just, you know, making a simple video. And her whole comment section turned into people explaining why they personally didn't like beans. They just couldn't let something exist that wasn't centered around them. And if you share experiences online, you'll see this all the time. You know, you'll say something based on your life, and here comes someone saying, well, you need to change your circle because in all my 55 years, nobody has ever treated me like that. You know, and that's what happens when there is, you know, these whataboutmeisms and the gaslighting. That's when they like intertwine. You know, instead of acknowledging your experience, they try to replace it with their experience as if theirs is a universal standard. So, you know, when you have all three forms of these concepts, the bean soup theory, you know, the whataboutmeisms and the gaslighting, you know, all three are forms of centering yourself in situations that were not about you in the first place. Now, you know, I want to make something clear and I want you to understand. We live in a time where social media platforms are huge and some of them absolutely spread harmful narratives. And when those narratives start shaping how people treat certain genders, races, nationalities, and identities, and you happen to fall in one of those targeted groups, then yes, now it affects you. In those cases, speaking up is not being defensive. It's protecting yourself and correcting, something harmful that could, impact you. So I get that, but there's a difference between correcting harm and interrupting, every conversation just to acknowledge, you're the exception. So like if you want to bring this over into, everyday life, you can advise someone, you can say, I advise people, to take their time getting to know someone before they get married. You really, truly can't know someone in a short period of time. And, someone will jump in and say, well, my grandparents met after 2 weeks and they've been married for 65 years. Well, that's their story. And even if it is their story, do you think your grandmother or grandfather is going to pull you to the side and tell you every bad thing that happened in that marriage behind closed doors, all the fussing, the fighting, maybe the physical violence, maybe the debt, the infidelity, if there was any? Do you think they're going to pull you to the side and tell you that? Just because something has longevity doesn't mean it was healthy, and it also doesn't erase the fact that most people can still benefit from taking their time. Or even if you have kids, if I was to say, the best thing to do when you have kids is not to move someone in your house who you just met after 2 or 3 weeks. You will almost always get that one person who will say, well, I moved my boyfriend in after 3 weeks and we've been together for 9 years. Okay. That means you got lucky. Or I've seen people, on social media advise women against, meeting people on dating apps and spending the night with them, or not letting their family know who they're speaking to, or just running off with people. And you'll always have a couple of comments of someone saying, well, that's not true. I met my fiance on a dating app and, we ran off together and we're going strong and we're expecting our first child. Well, congratulations. I am so happy it worked out for you. Your outcome doesn't erase the risk for someone else. Being the exception does not make the rule any less real, y'all. There are things I did that, when I didn't know any better, and they turned out fine. But, once I gained more experience, I understood why the advice exists. Have I traveled out of town with barely any money? Yes, I have. Did anything bad happen to me? No. But now I would never tell someone to do that, because I understand that emergencies happen, plans fall apart, and life is unpredictable. Just because I made it through doesn't mean the next person will. And I'll be honest, I haven't always understood this myself. I'm human. I've made things about me that had absolutely nothing to do with me. And until I realized how much peace there is really in letting something go, I've had to, develop this isn't about me. It's really not. And, here's a lighter example. I love watching, the Mount Everest climbing videos. I love adventure, the storytelling, the journey. But will I ever climb Mount Everest? Absolutely not. Never. My lungs will remain at sea level. Now, if it was, one of my kids trying to go, then I would say something. Because then it affects me, But we are so quick to center ourselves, all the time on every single post, and every single comment, every single conversation, these messages oftentimes are meant for a specific audience. Some products, some projects, and some conversations are intentional in their focus. And sometimes, the most emotionally mature and peaceful thing you can say is simply this isn't about me. This isn't about me at all. I came across a Black woman who created a coloring book specifically for little Black girls. And of course, people were in her comments upset asking, well, why just for little black girls? But she stood on business and she said she wanted black girls to see themselves reflected, and she was intentional when she created that book. She didn't waver in her answer. And I also saw a young Native American woman making handcrafted jewelry that was tied to her culture. And she shared the meaning behind each piece, why she made it, and how it had, significant cultural value to her tribe. Do you think I jumped in her comments asking, well, how come you're not making jewelry for me? Absolutely not. Because, once again, it wasn't about me. I simply told her that her pieces were pretty and I liked the color and design, and she told me thank you, and she left me a heart. See, here's the thing. I love seeing people celebrate and preserve their culture, especially when they come from communities where they are marginalized and rarely, represented in mainstream spaces. It doesn't threaten me. Someone once said you don't have to climb to the top of a mountain to appreciate its beauty. And now I realize that you can just appreciate something from afar without touching it and getting involved. So with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video. Y'all take care.